Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Or to put it more accurately, Rocksteady Studios and WB Games kill the Arkham franchise. So, they just showcased State of Play by, it's a Sony thing. And, you know that. I don't know why I need to explain that. And they did a longer showcase for Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. You had extensive... they showed a whole mission. It was against the Flash, but it wasn't against the Flash. It was just before they got up against the Flash. And we got to see what the game was about. And I'm sad to say it's just another soulless, generic shooter with the ridiculously over-the-top traversing around the city and the skies as Gotham Knights. Only this is even more ridiculous. Guy with boomerangs that can teleport around because they're infused with the Speed Force. Harley Quinn could just whip around the city like Wonder Woman, only instead of hooking on to lightning, she's hooking onto a fucking drone. Deadshot makes sense. He's got a backpack. He can fly. King Shark could just leap around like there's no tomorrow, like the Hulk. And all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, how did we get from the first two Arkham games being these amazing detective stealth-like games with strategic takedowns to the third game being half okay and half utter shit with the Batmobile, which just ruined so much of the game. In fact, Arkham Knight's best thing was all the DLC with all the other characters. The main story was utter pish. And then we get to Gotham Knights, which is, okay, you know, Warner Brothers Montreal shit anyway. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Arkham Origins gets a bad rap. I hated Arkham Origins. And Gotham Knights was just a disaster. It's already disappeared. I mean, it went on sale within literally a couple of weeks of it being out. The price dropped down to £33 from full price release. And then we get to this, which is pretty much the same as Gotham Knights. Just looks a bit more full and a bit more well-rounded and better in execution. But it's still a soulless, crappy looter shooter RPG that has a million of... I mean, here is a screenshot that somebody took from Reddit, which you can go find yourself if you just go watch the showcase. I don't advise it, because your soul will just be drained of your body if you love the Arkham games. But here you see the Harley Quinn menu, and look at the top, and you've got, you know, squad, fine, map, fine, contracts, interesting. That means you can probably, you know, do some contracts around the city and capture guys for more like, well, the fucking loot and all this kind of shit. Looks, which is all that customization crap. Now, to be fair to Gotham Knights, they clearly, you know, rolled back whatever greedy implementations they were going to put in after the Avengers Fallout. So it was very easy to get a good OP suit, and you didn't really have to grind that much. So if they keep that with this, fine. Still annoying, but it's fine. However, you got here, as you can see, you got loadout, and you look at the menu. You got your small firearm, your big firearm, you know, your melee, grenade. It's like, oh my god, it's just a shooter. And then you got like shield mod and traversal mod. 2 other items locked for later. Just above Harley Quinn's head, you've got 3 other options of upgrades, which is, you know, probably, you know, Harley Quinn's items, then her skills, then her attacks, then her defense or dodge or whatever. And then if we carry on the top menu, again, we've got talents. I don't know what that is. Social, it speaks for itself. Battle Pass. I mean, Battle Pass is just standard now for a lot of games, and I'm of the mind that this is the perfect microtransaction to have in a game if it if it falls along the lines of Call of Duty, in that it has no imposition in the gameplay, no impact on the gameplay at all. The weapons that are on the battle pass you unlock yourself as well. So if they keep it like that, absolutely fine. It's the most acceptable form of monetization that I allow in a game. Not that I'm anything special, I'm just saying what I personally find acceptable, as long as it follows the lines of Call of Duty. Because I don't care about having 50 million costumes or stupid little symbols and key rings and dodgy crap all over my fucking face and makeup, whatever. I don't care about all of that. I care about gameplay mechanics. That is the most important thing to me. And then you have the store. Now the store is the most worrying part, because what's going to be in that store? Is this game going to implement pay to win mechanics? Is the store just going to be 1,000,001 costumes? Which, if it is, that's fine. Is it going to be characters that you can add to the squad? In which case, no, that sucks. I don't mind more characters coming along in terms of DLC. Arkham did that, and with every Arkham game, I just waited for Game of Year edition, so I buy the game really cheap and have all the DLC unlocked. That's what I tend to do with these games anyway. The only reason I would have bought this off the bat on release, if it was a lot better than what it is because it's multiplayer, and I've always wanted a multiplayer game like this. However, the multiplayer game we're getting is just... it is Avengers. It is just like Avengers. It's just more polished. You know, but the missions look like they're pretty much going to be the same. Go here, shooty, cutscenes, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, the story is not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to crap on the story. The story looks good. Like, I can happily probably sit there and watch all the cutscenes on YouTube, like I've done with Injustice. The Injustice games, which have great cutscenes, and the Mortal Kombat games and all this kind of stuff. So I'm sure the story will be solid, but the gameplay is just... I can't, man. I can't. Like, I'm so fed up with it. Like, Warner Brothers games just gave us Hogwarts Legacy, and ignoring the controversies, it's not really that controversial because Turf Bitch had nothing to do with the game. She just gets royalties. Okay, but they made the most perfect single-player game set in a world beloved by millions of people. No greedy crap. No planned DLC coming as well. So that means the game you got, that's the game. And it's plenty, and that's fantastic, and that's what you want. So why are the other properties so just crap and bland and offer no variety in gameplay? This is such a big L. Warner Brothers have like a big W with Hogwarts Legacy, and as a game, it deserves to win a lot of awards because it's single player. It's set in a fantasy land where millions of us have all wanted to go. And again, I'm not focusing on Turf Bitch. I'm just focusing on the fantasy that she created and what we enjoyed as youngsters. I'd say kids, but, I was in my late teens when Harry Potter became a thing. Technically was a kid, but, and we've got this perfect third person, not first person, third person, lived in world where you could be a fucking wizard. And it's fantastic. And there's variety in gameplay. Doesn't go too crazy. Keeps it simple. That's great. And then you come back to this, which is a bigger dream of mine because I love DC Comics. I love Marvel Comics. Spider-Man was amazing. I can't wait for Wolverine, which, again, we still haven't seen anything about that game since its announcement, and that's really frustrating. But, DC, I love just as much. And especially the Suicide Squad, but all we get is this generic shooter. And now you might argue, well, what else could they do with it? Well, it's very simple. If you've got a great big brainiac thing hovering over you and you need to find out what's going on, you're not just going to openly attack, okay? Because that ship in reality could just come down, dice you up, you're done. You've got to use detective missions and stealth and try to find strategic ways to bring down the enemy. And that's what they could have done with Suicide Squad. Yes, it could have been a lot more brutal in its approach, but it still should have been more grounded than what it is. This, you're just flapping around the city like you're nothing, like you're bloody Superman and Green Lantern and the Flash, and it's just like, it just makes it too easy. It should be a brawling kind of game, a rough game, more like just, where the odds are stacked against you in a way where, like, you really have to plan your missions. But here we're just like, oh, I've got guns, I've got grenades, I can whoop around the city, do special moves, and all this kind of crap. And it's just like, well, if they're doing all this special stuff, then why not just give me the fucking Justice League? Because if I'm playing a game like this, when I'm the Flash and Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and let's say that the main bad is Superman, who's been corrupted. Okay, so your other members of the Justice League, it's believable. But because it's a Suicide Squad and King Shark aside, the rest aren't nothing special, I don't mean that as an insult, and they're doing all this kind of stuff, it just takes you out of it. And it's just like, well, you might as well just give me a bloody Justice League game. But even if I did get a Justice League game and it was this generic, I'd still be annoyed. You want a bit more variety of gameplay and more unique ways to traverse around the city, not just cop out by just whipping around and all this kind of stuff. And just gonna add this to the never mind, on to the next one list, because it's just I don't know, is it that difficult, especially after we got like Hogwarts Legacy? Is it that difficult to really just get a game? I mean, there's a game coming out called Tchia. Sorry if I butchered that. But go watch the game Tchia and look at all the ways you can traverse around that, the ways you can get around, and the stuff you could do within that game. And this is an indie game, and go look at how amazing the variety is in that, and then come back and watch things like Suicide Squad or any bloody Ubisoft game, and you're just like, my God, these big companies just have no soul whatsoever. They just want the quickest avenue to sheer monetization. It's just like, you know what, if you want to monetize the crap out of your games, do it in the mobile market and just give us what we want in the console market. Just do that. Anyway, that is all. Let normality resume.